One of Donald Trump's former closest aides told us exclusively here on the MeidasTouch network that he believes no one hates Donald Trump in the world more than Melania Trump, other than the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. I had the opportunity to interview Anthony Scaramucci, who served within the Trump White House for one Scaramucci, a short period of time, but he knew Trump well. And he told us that exclusively here on the MeidasTouch network. It made national headlines. The top story on the Daily Beast was Anthony Scaramucci drops bombshell Melania claims. That was on the MeidasTouch network. The Times of India reported Melania hates Donald, prefers Kamala Harris, claims Donald Trump ex-aide. Radar Online read the headline, Fire Trump aide claims Melania hates Donald and prefers Kamala Harris in wild new interview on MeidasTouch. And then the Daily Mail reported Anthony Scaramucci makes bizarre claim about Melania as he continues bitter war against Donald Trump for firing him. And then the Independent ran the headline, ex-Trump aide claims he's met only one person who hates former president more than Melania. The Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, said he judges people's hatred of the former president using the Melania standard. Those were the headlines. I could show you a bunch more, but let me show you right now what Anthony Scaramucci told us exclusively here on the MeidasTouch network that's now making national and international headlines. Play this clip. You're saying no one wants her to win more than you.
Nobody wants her to win more than me. Maybe Melania Trump. That could be the only person I think of, because she hates him. Like I judge the hatred of Donald Trump by the Melania standard. Like Ben hates Trump, but slightly less than Melania. My wife hates Trump as much as Melania. I've met one person that actually hates Trump more than Melania. That's General Milley. He's the only guy I've met so far that actually hates him more than Melania. You know what I mean? I always judge the hatred of Trump by the Melania standard.
Well, Trump called for the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, to be killed.
Yes,
he called for him to be executed.
He's the despicable guy for doing that. And it's also caused a threat to General Milley and his family. And the fact that we're even talking about an enemies list in a country like ours, which is the longest standing Republican representative democracy, 250 years, it's just a disgusting thing that we're actually had this guy. But I blame the Republicans. I blame the cowardly Republicans that allowed him to facilitate the takeover of their party. And now we have to put up with this nonsense.
So no doubt Anthony Scaramucci is a Trump insider, a former Trump insider, so he has insight into that. But, we at the MeidasTouch Network want to get our data from multiple sources, and we have multiple insiders. So how about Melania's former best friend, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, who's a close friend of mine who you probably seen appear on the MeidasTouch Network multiple times and a bunch of our other shows. So here's what Stephanie Winston Wolkoff had to say. She says that Melania's relationship with Donald Trump, she refers to it as not just a transactional relationship, but a transactional criminal enterprise is how it was phrased by Melania's former best friend. Again, who knows Melania better than these people who we're getting here on the MeidasTouch Network? This is Stephanie Winston Wolkoff talking about it. Here, play this clip.
Between her texts and Signal and WhatsApp and also her many different emails that she uses, that there absolutely is going to be evidence that shows that she understood what was going on and that she was a part of everything that really does go on with Donald and is very much aligned with his thinking and the way that they support each other. Forget about being a transactional couple. They are a transactional criminal, enterprise. And I feel that finally, Melania, I don't know, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say if spouses are protected when it comes to this kind of exposure, but they shouldn't be, because if you're part of a criminal enterprise and you're actually, a part of a criminal conspiracy to do everything, again, as you just read, the list goes on and on and on, then I am hoping to see some accountability with both Donald and Melania Trump.
I have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before a night out with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. Let's face it, after a night of drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I used to feel like I had to make a choice. I could either have a great night or a great next day. But now I don't have to choose, thanks to pre-alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's actually this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your next rough day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme that breaks this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on getting up early for a workout or handling a busy work day without worry. I won't lie, I was a bit on the fence about pre-alcohol at first, but then while hanging out with some friends at a rooftop bar, I gave it a shot. I had my first pre-alcohol before my go-to margarita, and the next morning, I felt amazing, just like my normal self, ready to take on the day. I kept hearing about pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I believe the hype, and with their GMO technology, ZBiotics is working on more products to address other toxic byproducts of modern living in the gut. Go to zbiotics.com/Meidas to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use the code Meidas at checkout. That's MEIDAS. ZBiotics is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use that code Meidas, MEIDAS, at checkout for 15% off.
And look, you have all of the indicia of Melania hating Donald Trump and also the transactional aspect of it. You want to talk about the transactional aspect of it. The one event that Melania went to, I think recently in connection with the Trump campaign, was a log cabin Republican event where Melania, in a transactional way, was paid $274,000 to give a speech. Now, we don't have video of her log cabin speech, but we have video of some of the other speeches that she's recently provided, like the speech that she gave at the Library of Congress, where she was essentially bragging to new citizens about how her citizenship process was expedited because she got great lawyers. I'm just going to show you a clip of this. I'm not really sure if you think this is worth $274,000 to listen to 5 minutes of this, but I'll let you be the judge. Play the clip.
And then, of course, there are nuances of understanding the United States immigration laws and the complex legal language contained therein. I was very devoted, but I certainly was not an attorney. And eventually, it proved critical for me to retain counsel. I was fortunate to do so, as ultimately my journey was streamlined and brought me over the finish line as a naturalized citizen. While challenges were numerous, the rewards were well worth effort.
And then speaking of the transactional aspect of Melania, she's out there selling a book like this. It's called Melania. The cover looks like the same text as Chanel, and it looks like an AI book. That doesn't even look to be like a real book right there. But she's selling that for $150. She's also selling this photo of something called a meta rose. I still have no clue what the hell this is, but she's selling this meta rose for $150. If you understand what in the world that is, go ahead and tell me. But let me show you, Melania's, and this is going back to Scaramucci's point, hatred of Donald Trump. Trump's trying to get Melania to leave her wherever she is in Mar-a-Lago or her home to accept these, just to be around him so he can be photographed near her. And Melania refuses to show up, so Donald Trump has people at Mar-a-Lago giving her fake awards. We're giving you the award for helping the kids. And then she still refuses to show up, so Donald Trump accepts the award on her behalf. Here, watch this.
On board. We want to take this opportunity. I know First Lady couldn't get here, but we want to give Melania Trump the Child Advocacy Award because she did so much for children when she was First Lady. So, sir, this is for Melania specifically. Please make your way to the vote.
And you want to take a look at some of the things that Donald Trump's been saying about Melania on the campaign trail. Like this, Donald Trump says that Melania knows that he doesn't like to get urinated on by hookers. That's what Donald Trump said in a high school. He said he doesn't like golden showers, and he said Melania knows that he doesn't like to get peed on by hookers. And that's what he said in a speech in a gymnasium in a high school in Iowa. This is the leader of the Republican Party that once stood for family values. Here's what he's talking about here. Play this clip.
He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling, I love you very much? It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, you know? He's not into golden showers, as they say they call that. He's not. I don't like that idea. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on. She said, no.
And here's Donald Trump at another speech saying that he would not cheat on Melania with a porn star who has a horse face. And he goes, no affair with the horse face, referring to Stormy Daniels, the adult film actress who he had sex with while Melania had just given birth to Barron. So you can hear that for yourself. This is part of Donald Trump's campaign stump speech. Play this clip.
You know, Marjorie is here, Truth to Vote. And they found at least 5 million instances on tape, and the courts didn't want to even look at it. The District Attorney of New York, under the auspices and direction of the Department of Injustice in Washington, D.C., was investigating me for something that is not a crime, not a misdemeanor, not an affair. I never liked horseface. I never liked... it's just not. It's terrible. That wouldn't be the one. There is no one. We have a great first lady.
And by the way, isn't it just so insane, the different standards that candidates are held to, right? Vice President Kamala Harris has to be pitch perfect in her interview. She has to detail every specific policy. If the lighting's off, if her energy is slightly less than people would like, you know, you hear all the corporate media saying, is she tired? Why didn't she go into more detailed plans about how she wants to implement her $6,000 child tax credit? Is that going to be, adding to the deficit? We need more details. I mean, Donald Trump's out there talking about getting peed on by hookers, and he's calling porn stars who he had sex with horse faces. Like, what are we even talking? What are we even talking? How's this even a conversation that's even taking place at all? But I digress. You know, this wasn't the first time Anthony Scaramucci broke news on the MeidasTouch network. You may remember Scaramucci came on and about 2 or 3 years ago. And you can see, I think me and my brothers look a bit younger here. He went on this incredible tear about Kevin McCarthy, which just like knocked Kevin McCarthy out. This is one of the greatest Kevin McCarthy takedowns. That's why I love having Scaramucci. I love having the Mooch on the show because he does some really great takedowns. And we always make national and international news when we talk together. Here, watch this. What was McCarthy like in private?
So McCarthy has morphed into this principleless coward, okay? But when he was a younger guy, he was an acolyte of Jack Kemp. And I don't know if you remember Jack Kemp, but Jack Kemp was a conservative, but he was the garden variety, loved everybody conservative. He played in the NFL. He had a huge following in the African-American community. And he was an acolyte alongside of Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan. And then, he was aspiring to the Speaker of the House. He got caught doing something personally. He got knocked out of that job. So Paul Ryan reluctantly took it. But where Kevin is now in his life, he's my age, he's 57, looks like shit, because what happens is when you're working for Donald Trump, he's poisoning you from the inside, okay? Now, the good news is, the good Lord saved my ass. I got ejected like an Austin Powers villain. And so I got saved from that shit, but he was putting the poison in these people, and that's why Kevin looks like he's fucking 200 years old. But he's my age, and he is so ambitious. He is so ambitious. He's so egocentric. Ted Cruz is like 7-8 years younger than me.
Look at Ted Cruz.
I know I had to show you that I digressed from my Melania rant for a second, but let me show you this as well. So, Donald Trump certainly been spending a lot more time with, other people like Alina Habba than Melania. You have Alina Habba going around following Donald Trump. She calls herself a senior advisor. She wears hats like this with Donald Trump's face on it, with Donald Trump giving the middle finger. She's posting selfie videos of herself in bathing suits like this. This is what she's posting of herself. And she says, looks like the Harris-Biden shrinkflation is even affecting the fish. Why are you posting that? And then she gave a speech recently in Johnstown. She's like the warm-up act to Donald Trump. And here's what Alina Habba said at that speech. And, obviously Trump seems to be favoring her more than Melania, but you can judge that for yourself. Here, play that clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you saw her on CNN, but let me be very clear. I am an American woman. I am a MAGA woman, and I don't need a man standing next to me to get up and speak. So while Ms. Harris is too busy trying not to giggle in front of the American people, I am going to get my hands dirty and help President Trump save this country.
I'll leave you with this. George Conway responded to the story of Scaramucci, and George Conway said the following. He goes, let me pull it up. George Conway goes, sorry, Scaramucci. The order of people who hate Donald Trump the most is Melania, me, then you. On this one, I am making the rules. And just for no reason at all, I just want to show you this video of Governor Walz, because after showing you the grossness of this Trump-Melania thing, I want to give myself and you a little bit of joy. So here's Governor Walz at the Minnesota State Fair. Play this clip.
All right, Minnesota, breakfast of champions, pork chop on a stick. I've traveled to a lot of state fairs. While Iowa has a nice one, it does not compare with Minnesota, and the pork chops here, the best.
I'm having two.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers by the election. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.